For the record, my name is Gabriela Coletta, District 1 City Councilor. I'm the chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Government Operations. Today is April 19th, 2024. This hearing is being recorded. It is also being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-TV and broadcasted on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and FiOS Channel 964. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.go@boston.gov and will be made a part of the record and available to all councilors. Public testimony will be taken at the end of this hearing. Individuals will be called on in the order in which they signed up and will have 2 minutes to testify. If you are interested in testifying in person, please add your name to the sign-up sheet near the entrance of the chamber. If you are looking to testify virtually, please email our Central Staff Liaison, Megan Kavanaugh, at meghan.kavanaugh@boston.gov for the link, and your name will be added to the list. Today's hearing is on docket 0263, petition for a special law regarding an act regarding the disability pension for Brian McPherson. This matter was sponsored by Councilor Flynn and was referred to the committee on January 31st, 2024. I'm joined by my colleagues in order of arrival, the lead sponsor, Councilor Flynn, and our council president, Rutzi Louis-Jean. Do you folks want to do opening statements? Okay, I'll go in order of arrival. Councilor Flynn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for chairing this hearing and for being very responsive. I also want to say thank you to my City Council Assistant, Sophia Wang, for helping me during this process as well. Thank you, Deputy Sheriff McPherson, for being here. As Councilor Coletta, the chair, mentioned, this is potentially a home rule petition for disability pension for Deputy Sheriff Brian McPherson, who sustained serious injuries when he was working in the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department in 2008. In 2008, Brian was responding to multiple incidents involving inmates at Suffolk County House of Correction and was punched in the head and hit his head on the concrete. And as a result, he suffered permanent injuries that prevented him from his duties as a sergeant, deputy sheriff, and was forced to retire at age 37. When he was employed by the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, he was a City of Boston employee. In his retirement system, under that time, the retirement system falls under Boston. During this period of time, as he seeks an increase in his disability status he has been working with State Representative Sullivan, I believe out of Abington, on this issue. And State Senator Sullivan reached out to me and asked me if I would work with her team on this. I was told that he would need a home rule petition passed in Boston in order to receive full disability pension pay. I reviewed the docket, reviewed the information, the medical information, and I believe this is worthy for an increase in this percentage. I believe Brian has served our city, served our county, which is the Sheriff's Department. I believe Brian served the residents of Suffolk County with distinction, with integrity, and due to this horrific accident, or horrific violent attack, I should say, is here before us. I also understand, I also understand that the city needs to do its due diligence on any disability pension case filed. I look forward to this hearing and hearing from my colleagues, hearing from the administration at the appropriate time, and from the sergeant on his experience as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn. We've been joined by Councilor Erin Murphy. We'll go to Councilor Louis-Jean and Councilor Murphy for opening remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to everyone for being here. I'm just here to learn and hear from everyone to know how I can be supportive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Louis-Jean. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's a lot. I hope we can do right by you, and I appreciate Councilor Flynn for your opening remarks and your advocacy. And as you know how it works, there's usually someone at the State House who may already be advocating, and it has to start here. So
Yes.
you do have, as you know, a long road ahead, but I hope that we can help you move along that path and support
Thank
you
you
any way we can. Thank you for your service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, and I'll just briefly say before I pass it over to you, Mr. McPherson, that we're very grateful for your service to the City of Boston and the county, and I'm grateful to have you here. It is important that we review every disability claim from the City of Boston. We've done this quite a bit, dating back to, I won't even put a year on it, but there was a lot of conversation in 2022 in particular around certain Boston police officers, and there was a lot of discussion in partnership with the retirement board and the percentages of what folks should get, and I will reference those conversations later. Specifically as it relates to Section 1D, there's a deviation in some of the language of past home rule petitions that we've sent up, but generally just grateful to have you here to tell us a little bit about yourself and the story, and I know that it is sometimes painful to relive these intimate issues that you're going through. I will just say that the impact that something like this can have on your life is profound. I've had a family member who had a very similar incident as a police officer in a greater Boston municipality, and so I understand quite well how this could impact your life, your livelihood, and do want to do right by you, while also making sure that we're not setting precedent or setting the stage for certain disability claims moving forward. So with that, I would love to pass it over to you to provide an opening statement and give us any information that you think is helpful.
Thank you. Good morning, City Council. My name is Brian McPherson, and on behalf of myself, my wife, my kid, I would like to thank you for allowing me to come before you and speak about my disability pension, the violent injury that led up to it. I'm here today to ask for your support on a home rule petition to change my current status of 72% disability pension, which is based on a 2008 salary, to 100% of what I would be earning if I had not been injured in the violent manner and I was still employed at the Sheriff's Department as a supervisory officer. I began my career as a sworn law enforcement officer with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department in December of 1991, which at that time fell under the City of Boston payroll and benefits for the employees. My assignment started at the Deer Island Prison Facility. Along with other staff and inmates, I moved to the Huss Correction on Bradson Street at the end of December 1991. Over the course of my career as a correction officer, a deputy sheriff, a supervisory position, I held many different assignments. I started out as a unit officer. Then I was trained as a member of the response team. I worked in our main operations center, and I drove for the transportation division, moving inmates to courts, hospitals, and other facilities. As my career progressed, I was given the honor to instruct fellow officers and non-custody staff members in various interning training classes and our new hire academy. I was also asked to command the Sheriff's Honor Guard, which I did for 3 years. On May 13th, 2008, my career and my life took a drastic turn. While I was working the 311 shift at the House of Corrections as sergeant, I was standing in the building 3 yard, monitoring inmates who were out for recreation. A fight broke out between multiple inmates. The fight immediately moved to my direction when one of the inmates ran behind me to get away from the others. I was now in a position of having inmates around me trying to punch and kick one another. While trying to protect myself and restrain one of the inmates, I was violently punched in the head, the body, and kicked on the lower half of my body. As responding staff arrived on scene, I was able to gain control of one of the inmates, and during my attempts to restrain him, I fell and hit my head on a concrete wall. After the inmates were secured, I immediately spoke to Captain Ronald Wong, informed him that I had struck my head off the wall. He instructed me to report to the facility infirmary. After speaking to and being evaluated by the medical staff, they ordered me to go to the hospital emergency room, which I was taken to by an officer in a department cruiser. I was treated for a headache and possible concussion, informed by the hospital MD to see my primary physician. The following day, I woke up with severe pain in my lower back, my hip, and numbness in my leg. After seeing my primary doctor, she determined I should start therapy and stay out of work. Over the next year, I had treatments for a torn disc in my lower back and a joint in my hip in the form of physical therapy, cortisone injections, a chiropractor, all under the direction of my personal physician, a neurologist, and a physiatrist. After only receiving minimal relief from these procedures and not being able to return to work on a full-time status, my neurologist informed me I should seek retirement. The process began with the City of Boston Disability Retirement Unit and a panel of doctors assembled by PARAC. Upon completion of my panel review, the doctors agreed my injuries were to be considered permanent and that I could not perform the functions of a sergeant for the Sheriff's Department. The information from that panel was relayed to my department, where I was informed by my special sheriff/superintendent, Gerard Horgan. The rules were, if I cannot perform all the duties of a sergeant due to my injury that I sustained while working for the department, I had to retire on a disability pension. At this point in my life, I was 37 years old. Married, and I had 3 young kids, 2 of which were not even school age. Once the retirement process was complete, I now only receiving 72% of what I was earning from when I sustained my injuries. This, of course, was and still is an enormous financial blow to my family. I was informed now that I could now go out and earn an income, but it would be capped at a percentage plus $5,000. After several years, that law did get changed, and it was changed to plus 15. With the amount I was allowed to earn, I started working part-time for a funeral home covering wakes and funerals. I then started driving. I was able to find some security work as a monitor at a local college for special events. Trying to find work to make up the difference in what I was making as a sheriff, but to not go over the annual cap, all while still having the numbness in my leg and tightening muscles in my neck, isn't always easy. Over the past 2 years, I've been seeing Dr. Michael Hayes, the Brigham and Women's chief neurologist. I get 6 injections in my neck every 4 months to try and relieve the tightness of the muscles in my neck. The spring of 2023, Dr. Hayes also ordered an updated MRI on my back. He informed me that the status of my disc injury after the MRI is the same as it was on the initial MRIs in 2008, and that trying to perform any procedure could only make it worse. During my retirement, my wife went back to school while she worked part-time, helped me with my condition, and helped raise our 3 kids. She went on to complete her bachelor's and earn her master's. She is now a teacher of students with visual impairments. Today, my kids are 25, 19, and 17. My wife and I try our best to provide for them and give them the opportunities they deserve in school and life. All parents want to do is raise their family the best way they can, morally, ethically, financially. During COVID, I asked my state representative to file a bill allowing retirees on disability to earn more money. Representative Sullivan did this, but it did not move through the House process. In March of 2020, Governor Baker signed Chapter 53 of the Act of 2020. But in Section 14, it allowed persons on retirement, in certain cases, to have the number of hours they work and the amount of money they could earn would be on hold during the state of emergency. But the last line of the Section 14 says, this section shall not apply to individuals retired under general or special law disability. When I contacted PARAC and asked how could this be fair, I was told, you asked for your retirement. I did not ask for it. I was forced into it. No one ever wants to be injured. No one ever wants to be assaulted, let alone in a violent manner. No one ever wants to be injured on the job and not be able to return to work. No one ever wants to be told they must retire and live off a fixed income that doesn't have reasonable increases. No one ever wants to have to live with injuries deemed permanent by a medical panel. But all of these happen to me, and this is why I am before you today to ask for your support and to vote in favor of my home rule petition. I thank you all for listening to me, and if you have any questions.
Thank you for sharing your story, Mr. McPherson. We deeply appreciate it. I will go to the lead sponsor for any questions he may have, and then Councilor Louis-Jean and Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Sergeant, for your testimony, your moving testimony, and want to acknowledge your service and sacrifice once again, but also your family sacrifice in the difficult situation this horrific violent attack placed your family in as well, including financial related challenges that put kids under. And I think that's why we're here today, is to acknowledge the professionalism that you've done as an employee at the Sheriff's Department. And in your duties as a sergeant in the Sheriff's Department, you were violently attacked. And due to that attack, you were no longer able to continue working, medically discharged. You were medically discharged, and it also put your family under difficult financial challenges. So currently, Sergeant, you're at 72%.
Correct.
So the 72%, if you still worked, you would probably have received significant overtime pay as well, beyond the traditional 40 hours a week. Is that accurate?
Yes.
How big of a financial impact has this had on your family in terms of, is there a way that you could say, due to this violent attack, my family has lost 30% of income, my family has lost 40%? Is there any way that you are able to give a ballpark estimate on the specific financial impact it's had on your family?
What my pension is now and the money I'm allowed to make only brings me to what I would be making if I was still working. So the impact is any overtime I would have got, which could have been 1 or 2 shifts a week, or any part-time job outside of that I would have been able to get, which could have added to the family finances, was all taken away. My pension is 72% of what I made, and yes, I get to make some more money, but if I add the two of them together, it comes to only what I would make if I was just doing 40 hours and never worked in overtime, and never worked a part-time job to try and make the extra money for my family. If we were looking at a ballpark figure, the staff that are there now, I mean, 1 overtime a week is $20,000 to $25,000. You know, to have that ability to be able to make that extra money and provide for my family, and, you know, or even the ability to make more to help. I mean, one of my oldest son, he's done with college. We help him a little with paying. My second daughter's in college. Loan's in your name, honey. We'll help. But if I had the ability to still be there and make them more money, or if my, you know, petition goes through and I'm able to get more money, well, then I can do what I should do.
Thank you. Like the Boston police that traditionally, especially over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, 15 years, almost working mandatory overtime because of the number of police officers that were short in the city. Is that the same as in the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, that there are a critical need for more sheriff deputies in the Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, in recent conversations I've had with, you know, former colleagues that there, and some of them being captains, throughout the department as a whole, officers are being forced to work, not even voluntarily overtime. They're being what we would refer to as being frozen once, if not twice a week. And depending on what shift you're on, you're being forced 3 times a week, and that it's due to the low numbers of staff. You get these guys, men and women that are working there and serving the county, they're not being given the choice to, do you want the overtime? They're being forced to work it. So if I was still there, I could fall under that category of being forced to work a shift a week and then volunteering or being forced multiple shifts.
So it's likely if you were still there, you would be working at least 1 shift forced a week, probably two shifts a week.
Yes.
What year did you start working at the Sheriff's Department?
1991.
What year were you promoted to sergeant?
2005.
Was that through a written examination?
Yes.
Were you preparing, prior to this violent assault, were you preparing to stay in the Sheriff's Department for your entire career?
Yes. Like I had stated, I had the opportunities of many opportunities in the department. When I, you know, ran the Honor Guard, when I taught in the academy, and even when I, you know, was not teaching in the academy, I would be called back to teach on occasion. I would go out and teach at other departments throughout the city, you know, throughout the state. I taught for other sheriff's departments when they needed instructors.
So you retired as a sergeant, medically retired as a sergeant, but you could have continued, if you weren't violently assaulted, you could have continued on in that position, taking the next examination from sergeant. Is that correct?
Correct. I would have had the opportunity to take down the road, take tests going all the way up to captain.
And that would have also increased your pay, I would assume. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So not only did you lose a lot of that pay, but you also retired as a sergeant, stopping your career progression where you could have probably advanced through these examinations at least to the next, probably to the next rank as well.
Right. Hopefully. Yes.
What was the impact on your children?
My oldest at the time was 9 or 10. He understood, but, you know, with the back spasms, I would have days I would just walk and fall I remember, luckily, one of the worst ones, but it went fine, is I live in the town of Whitman, and we have a very small town center, and I walked across the street with my 2 little ones. So they, at the time this happened, they were probably 3 and 4, and I spasmed and fell down in the street. And it took 10 seconds or so to get up and move and go. You know, for them to see it, you know, like I said, the oldest one, we'd talk to him about treatment, you know. Yep, going to the doctor to get this injection or get this shot, and to this day, you know, oh, Dad, you're going in, and I get 6 injections in the back of my neck to try and relieve the muscles, which you may or may not notice now. I keep my hand near my head because my head will either pull left or it'll pull straight up. And the injections are to try and relieve that. So they, to this day, still follow that I go in and I get treatments for this.
What other impact has it had on your children?
The loss of pay. At the time, my wife had a great part-time job, and we, you know, basically with my schedule and her part-time job, we were able to be there, one or both of us, for our kids all the time. Well, when that changed and the loss of money, she took her part-time job, but then she went back to school and she finished her bachelor's. She was given the opportunity to go to UMass Boston for a master's program to teach kids with visual impairments. So while being, you know, the caregiver for the kids, working part-time, and then doing a master's program, you know, she completed it, got the job. But again, that took away time from the family that may not have had to have happened had I not been injured, had I not had to retire, and was able to make the money that I made. The impact the kids, they see how hard we work. So that's a bonus. But they see the, you know, the medical struggles.
No child wants to see their parent go through difficult physical challenges, especially young parents like yourself at the time. And before I start my questioning and give an opportunity to my colleagues, I also want to acknowledge the strong presence and resiliency of your family, of your wife, who I had the opportunity to meet, a wonderful, wonderful woman. And during difficult times, I admire what you've done for your family and what your wife has done for your family, keeping people together and under very difficult financial, physical, emotional challenges. You did the best for your kids and tried to ensure that your kids would get the best upbringing possible. And when I talked to you previous to that, that's what your main focus was, on your children. And respect and admire both you and your wife for your dedication to your kids, and your wife also for her resiliency and hard work going back to school and helping children with special needs or children with disabilities. I'm going to stop there, Madam Chair, and give my colleagues the opportunity to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Flynn. Councillor Lujan.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and I want to thank you, Mr. McPherson, for coming here and sharing your story, which I think the chair said it, and every time must be difficult and must be traumatic. You know, you said you were 37 years old when this happened. I'm 37 now, and I can't imagine sort of how life-altering this has been. But I also hope that your family's proud of you and you've still been able to do and accomplish, and your wife just showing up for your family. So I just, you know, I commend you for persevering even in the face of these challenges. So you were told to retire,
Yes,
basically because you couldn't perform the essential functions of the job.
yes. The superintendent at the time had said that if I can't perform all the functions of a supervisor, of a correction officer, and in the role that I have, that I had to retire.
And so you had no other option essentially but to retire. And so what is the reasoning that they've given for this 72% determination?
At that time, it was accidental disability. Was that they said you get 72%.
And then that was just the law, the requirement, that it was at 72%.
Yes,
Okay. And the term accidental,
that's the term that
that's just the term.
that they use.
Okay. And this is apologies, because some of this is just for my knowledge, the 100%, would it be at today's dollars and not at
Yes, today's dollars.
today's dollars? And right now it's 72% at today's dollars.
No, I'm at 72% of 2008 salary. It has never gone up. So when you retire on a disability, your pension is locked at the day of your injury.
And so we are seeking 100%.
As if I was still there, I would be with my age, I would still be able to be employed there.
Making today's salary.
Making today's salary.
And so the home rule petition states 100% of the annual rate of compensation he was receiving the day before. So it's still pegging the 100% to the 2008 dollars. Madam Chair? Sorry.
Yes, that's correct.
And you had made a statement, and perhaps my question is to the chair, that there's language in subsection D that we typically don't see. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Sure. So this docket is almost identical to a package of dockets that was filed in 2020. I had to go back by Councilor Sabi George. And at the time, and just for the record, it was docket 0505 filed in 2020, and then refiled as docket 0150 in 2022. And so this resulted in over 2 years in working sessions of going back and forth with the Boston Retirement Board, and I believe that the state legislature was involved. So this language, so it does refer to Mass General Law 32, Section 7, 2A, that limits the yearly amount of pension allowed equal to 72% of the annual rate of compensation he was receiving. Previous home rule petitions, like the docket I just mentioned, a similar petition for Kirk Stokinger, of a Boston police officer, requested 100% initially, but was amended to request up to 80 instead. And it was a recommendation of the state legislature and the retirement board. And at the time, it was Christine Weir who was involved in those conversations. As a staff member of the GovOps chair at the time, I was involved in initial conversations, but had left when they were going through from 100 to 80. And so I don't have the reason why that happened. But I'm hoping to get a written perspective or opinion from Tim Smith from the Boston Retirement Board, who was invited here and unfortunately had a conflict.
I wonder, is it all because of likelihood of success, or in some home rule petitions there includes language that allows the state house to alter language? Is that included in this home rule petition?
Let me see. Not listening to the Boston Retirement Show. I don't think that we.
Or is that language that we typically include in these types of home rule that gives the state house the flexibility to alter if for whatever reason they are not of accord?
I don't think that we've ever had language like that.
In these types of, we have them in a lot of home rule petitions,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we've had them in disability petitions.
That leaves it open. I mean, we could do that. Thinking back to the last docket, the state
It's there.
legislature. Oh, it is. Which section? Which one? Oh, it's in the order, but is that, it's not in the actual petition, so we would have to formally take it from the whereas and put it, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, Madam Chair, because this has come up on several occasions for home rule petitions, even in the ordered language. Thank you, Megan, for pointing that out, where it says, as follows, except for clerical or editorial changes of form only. We've gone back and forth about, because I'm asking this question because maybe we don't have to resolve the question. It seems like there's been some back and forth in terms of like what percentage makes the most, is the most viable or is the most likely to succeed at the State House. But if there's language in the home rule petition itself that gives the State House the flexibility, I remember, I can't recall which home rule petition, but there's language that's broader than this that allows for changes for more beyond clerical or editorial changes. And I wonder if that would give some flexibility if we're not able to make a final determination at this stage about what makes the most sense.
Go ahead.
If I could. So I have a copy of, back in July 21st of 2023, by Representative Allison Sullivan. I have a docket number of the petition she already wrote, if you just want to see that. And then it was determined, it was written and sent to the, brought up to the State House. Then it was determined that because I was a City of Boston employee, hired and retired, that I came to you first. I don't know if you...
I mean, I'm sure we can find that online, but if we can get copies afterwards, we'll just make sure that everybody has.
Okay. Yeah, because it has in the...
And was that it was stated, so the reason was, it was a procedural reason that
it's a procedural reason that for me to come back in front of the council again, because I hired under the city and my retirement back when 2008 fell under the city.
And what percentage is in that docket? I mean, we could review it now, but if you have it, and what percentage was in the docket that the representative filed on your behalf? Was it 100%?
It's the annual amount of pension shall be equal to the regular rate of compensation which would be paid had he continued service at the grade held by him the time of retirement. So basically it's 100% of what I would be getting if I was there today.
And just a final structural question also for my own knowledge. Would that still be the case today for a Suffolk County Sheriff? It would have come before the Boston Retirement Board? No, it wouldn't. No. It's just, this is how the past...
I'm old.
You're not old. You're seasoned.
And I'm sorry, and that is directly because you retired in what was it, 2008?
2008. Yeah. Okay. So because my retirement, the sheriff still fell under the purview everything of the City of Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Those are all my questions. Thank you again, Mr. McPherson, for your service and for coming before us and sharing your story and your life with all of us. We really appreciate it. And sorry that you have to go through all of these hoops, but happy to help the chair and the sponsor make sure that this is a petition that can be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Loujain. Councilor Murphy?
Thank you. Like we all said, thank you for sharing, though. It's hard. You have to say you live on a nice street in Whitman, a good name.
Yes.
But I know the questions were asked, and thank you, Councilor Flynn, for sharing also that you had conversations with the family before, but obviously financially is what we can help with. I'm here to do that, but the mental strain, obviously, over these past 16 years, you're coming close to being out as long as you were in.
Right.
And I know many people who work in the Sheriff's Department, and like other first responders, your salary is never enough. Like, the overtime is part of what you're expected to do. And when they have, tuitions and soccer cleats and all of the things that families bring, and now your children are older, and, you're living through college tuitions and everything that, you set out thinking you'd be able to support. And it's not and should not be held against you financially that you were attacked at work. So we do have to get this right. And the chair did mention that back in 2020, Councilor Asabi George, she did then leave the council, and those home rule petitions I did bring back in 2022, and it was the conversation about getting it right. Christine Ware was the acting head of the retirement board at that time, so hoping that with Tim Smith and Christine, we can make sure that we get the wording correct, and just one question too, because it did come up in those police offices, and there was one EMS woman who was attacked and needed full retirement. Is the wording there for retroactive to go back to the date of the difference that you would have been getting?
I believe it is in there.
Okay.
If it's a sticking point.
It's something, right? I don't know, but I do think that we should make sure that we have that wording in there also, because you're here before us now, but for lots of reasons legally, it's why, right? But if we're going to go back to 2008 and make sure that you're at the rate that you should be, and Councilor Flynn touched on it, but there's no way to tell, but we can only assume that you would have been promoted. You were on a path where you weren't already in that short time, those few years in, you were already doing more, and on a path taking the tests and all of the different paths that would promote you to better paying positions within, you know, the sheriff's department. And it seemed like you were happy at your job, you wanted to be there, and then this happened to you. So hoping that, and I know that the chair will make sure, but that we get the wording right so that all of those things are clear leaving the city council when it goes back up to the State House. And something we do with the retirements, or we've passed some age waivers where it starts here and it goes up to the State House, that we help support, and we don't just, once it leaves here, that we stay in touch with those who have championed it up there to make sure whatever help we can give down here from the retirement board or us on the council to see this through. But thank you for being here. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry for all that's happened to you. This is the least we can do to get it right.
No, I appreciate it very much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilor Murphy, and I'll just underscore everything that everyone is saying. Just thank you again for your service. This is one of those instances where government tries to do good, and there's so many hoops and things that you have to jump through to just live a fulfilling, prosperous life after giving so much to the city and into the county. I hope you can see and hear that we are supportive of you in this endeavor. And we will do everything we can to make sure that you have what you need to do exactly what I just mentioned. Just live your life in peace and harmony. It is that former docket of 0150 where the retirement board came back and had some suggestions. And so I think if it's okay with the lead sponsor, just making sure we get something in writing from Tim and having a conversation and figuring out what this might look like for him, because they are the administrative body that will disperse these funds. And so just want to make sure we're in lockstep with them, crossing our T's, dotting our I's. And then I don't think that I think it's implied that it's retroactive pay, but if we need to be a little bit more specific, I tried to go back into the last docket and see what language they had used, but we'll work on it.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about the timeline as well too. So the session is about to end up at the State House, so it is imperative that we move quickly on this and get it up there realistically for passage by July 31st if they close session at that time. So I'm cognizant of that. So there is an expedited timeline on this. So we'll work on it and make sure that we're in constant communication with you and your state rep and your state senator.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we close?
No, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come in and being able to present in front of you.
Thank you. And thank you for your time, for being here. We don't have any public testimony, right? Okay, I have to ask. So with that, this hearing on docket 0263 is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.